Hello everyone, this is XOMGPop and welcome back to the channel. Of course, as you can see, we're doing something entirely different in this video. If you follow my blog, I talk about, pop culture aside from K-pop, even though I do talk a lot about K-pop and Asian media. But this is something that I feel like is not talked about enough. And how long is it gonna fly under the radar before it gets readdressed? So I'm digging it up because I think we deserve to know as a people what the heck is going on with XOMGPop, aka Jojo Siwa's girl group situation. And then with her recent solo debut, what the heck is going on? So this is for sure going to be focused on the girls and the situation surrounding that. Not necessarily JoJo Siwa as a person, but I guess you guys are interested in me covering other people or other YouTuber influencer situations, celebrity situations. I'm also down for that. But let's jump into some questions. Is there any legal action being taken right now behind the scenes? Was JoJo's recent solo debut an attempt, or was part of her reason for going solo to cover up the situation with them? And does she feel bad for the treatment they received or the way she treated them and the overall bottoms? So these are all yes or no questions, and we'll get into going deeper. So first off, the answer is King of Ones. Yes, there are some legal stuff going on right now, or at least are preparing to do so. Somebody is really stepping in, and it seems like rather than it possibly being the girls and their families and their advocates representation, it might be JoJo and herself and her camp that are the ones who are trying to make sure they're protected and they can kind of keep moving with their business. And of course, if it's not said already, this is for entertainment purposes only. Tarot is essentially a spiritual forecast, and things can change. And by no means is this certifiable truth, and do I know if it is or not? Clarification. Anyways, next was another one of her reasons for launching her solo debut to cover up the situation with XOMGPop, the Chariot. Likely yes. It also seems like, based on just discarded for sure and energy though, JoJo was already working on this to make it happen anyways, but it did happen to be a convenient situation for her to kind of tie up that loose end rather quickly, possibly by just expediting the process. And did she feel bad, for how she treated the girls? And this is not necessarily to imply she treated them bad or good. We can get into that clarification, but the answer is 8 of Cups, likely not. She does not regret how she treated them. So I guess, yikes. Looking at the overall, it seems like she likes and still seems to care for the girls, regardless, I guess, of what happened, or maybe her personal relationship with them is different. I'm seeing a Wheel of Fortune. Things might end up wrapping itself up, in a positive manner, but we're going to go a little bit deeper. We're gonna see how did JoJo treat them girls, and how did they view her as a collective. And I might even just try to pull a card for each girl to see what their sentiments are and see what it really is giving. Because so far, I'm a little bit surprised, but hey, let's keep going. Okay, so let's start off first off with how was JoJo treating those girls. Magician, Wheel of Fortune, Queen of Cups, 5 of Swords. It seems like ultimately she probably could have imparted a lot of good technique and even some training on them. Her intentions, at least in her eyes, were positive and hoping for their success. She even could have felt a little bit emotional towards them because she felt like she could relate to them. There were probably often, though, sometimes maybe through her manner of teaching, though, she could have been harsher on them than, I guess maybe would be whatever could be considered acceptable or whatever. It just depends on your personal standards, of course. But it just gives off to me the energy that, there were some times that she could have made some criticisms or nitpicks or said things in a certain way that maybe could have made the girls feel some type of way or upset them. But it feels like she felt like she had to be that way, or to be that way, to be like a teacher type vibe, I guess. So with her trying to, I guess, step a little bit into that role and become and be the boss, there are still some parts of her maybe that could be lacking, but nobody is necessarily perfect. With that being said, though, like I said, in Jojo's eyes, and at least what the cards are pulling, her intentions were good, even though some things most definitely did fall short. With that being said, though, there is a lot more to unpack here, and yeah, we're just gonna look at each card remaining. Oh, also the overall cards: 10 of Wands, 7 of Cups, Judgment, 2 of Wands, and the Moon. So now I've got a card for each girl and how they viewed Jojo. So Brooklyn, Penelope, Dallas, Tiny T, Kinley, and then Leia. Anyways, let's start with Miss Brooklyn. I don't know exactly, but I do know they were 6. Now they are currently 4 officially. So let's get into it. Miss Brooklyn, it seems like she maybe she didn't feel like Jojo was as capable of leading, or she just genuinely felt kind of let down by Jojo. Yikes. Penelope seemed like she was not able to maybe form an opinion, because maybe the version of Jojo she interpreted was different every time she encountered or maybe interacted with Jojo, despite however much interaction they had, I suppose. 6 of Pentacles, Miss Dallas. It seems like she was leaning towards Jojo being kind, not really fully sure what to make of her, but kind. Tiny T seemed like Jojo was giving her this perfect opportunity, and she should be grateful for it. Like, as in, I fuck with this, I fuck with you, like, help me out and I'll help you out. Just like she was fully on board for this situation. And the remaining members, Miss Kinley, High Priestess, she might have herself felt like she got a particular vibe about Jojo. Like, I don't know. I wonder if this would denote, as the High Priestess, that she felt like Jojo knew more than them, or understood more than them. Like, there was a transcendent level of knowledge. With this also being said, this means she could have felt like Jojo was like one of her idols before, somebody she really looked up to before, and even kind of still looks up to. But it seems like, that image, whatever it was, how she viewed Jojo, definitely could have been shattered, despite still kind of being up there on a pedestal. It's almost just kind of like she felt like no matter what, she was powerless against, Jojo regardless. So I don't know. In a positive manner, it's like, oh, she can teach me a lot of things. In a negative manner, it might have been like, oh gosh, like, if I tell or if I say something, like, will anyone understand me, believe me, etc. And also, mind you, all of these are young girls, so it's not like, maybe they're all worried about social niceties, but I digress. And the final, Miss Kinley, Knight of Cups, she viewed Jojo honestly as childish, probably not that good of a leader, maybe even a little bit impatient, or seemed like she was short-tempered, quick to snap. So maybe she saw through that, or maybe, if at all, I don't know. Let's say, for example, Kinley was the member that made a lot more mistakes. She most definitely did get laid into a lot more maybe than the others. But looking at this, for sure, those girls were working hard. They didn't exactly know what to think of Jojo, so their perceptions were definitely based off of a couple of meetings. Something here tells me like they didn't really get to maybe see her or get to know her that intimately as a whole, and even up till now. I'm seeing here the Judgment. For sure, this does indicate though that eventually this energy, eventually their situation was going to be brought up and will be brought to justice. However, it seems like it's kind of up in the air and delayed right now as to when that is, or if they'll even be able to speak out on what that means with the Moon here. So there's some confusion, there's kind of some things slowing down, blocking it up, which is a little bit, I don't know if I would say concerning just yet, but keep your eyes peeled. So we're wrapping up this section of the reading, and we'll be right back with some more. Okay, so I think these will be our among our last spreads before we wrap it up, if not just the last. But anyways, so I'm sure we all know, if you don't know, there was an incident with a young woman in the group who was indeed injured and was even just told, like, go put a tampon in it, all of the other health issues. So I decided to see, like, did JoJo even know that the young woman was, injured, and she was going through what she was going through at the time of the incident? Nine of Swords, it seems likely not. And then when she found out, she realized, oh my gosh, like, that reflects really badly. But it seems like maybe that fear could have possessed her to, bring it to somebody or whatever, or was advised to retaliate instead of, maybe rectify the situation to move forward in a way that was, would literally, to whatever you think makes more sense. But, I wanted to know, what did she think about the situation as a whole and how it ended up, specifically with the injury, vibe, whatever, world, reverse judgment, King of Wands, death. It seems like she realized, oh my gosh, this reflects really poorly for me. It's going to do literally the worst damage to my image. And it seems like there was an energy around her, if it was not JoJo herself, who decided it's time to lock in. It's time to lock in, and it's knowing that it was going to come out, it was going to be spoken about, and it was going to change things and change a lot of the trajectory and how people view JoJo's image, naturally, the death. But it seems like this King of Wands here, like, some of it seems a little bit like JoJo, but I would dare to say it's possibly her mom or a management team, somebody who plays a big role in a lot of the things she does, period, whoever it is. It seems to, said lock in, and then we're gonna stand on it, stand our ground, and we're not gonna let this bowl us over. So anyways, our final read of the night, and I'll read you our overalls, is what is going to be the outcome of this current legal situation, or the one that's coming up. I guess if I were to do a part 2 or something, or a follow-up later, I'll pull for exactly what it was. But anyways, what is the outcome? Knight of Cups, reverse the Hierophant, High Priestess, 9 of Cups, 7 of Swords, 8 of Wands, Knight of Wands, 9 of Cups. I don't really love how this looks, because it's giving, they have already pre-planned for how it's going to go. No matter what the outcome is, they really have a fail-safe or a bunch of other options to make sure, like, the trajectory of, JoJo's, like, 20-year career plan is not stopped. Of course, the plan along the way and as time changes for sure is getting alterations. But anyways, she has gotten and has a good legal advice behind her. Good lawyer on her side, studied up on her law, her rights, and also figured out and, just does a lot of observation in terms of, how to address it. When is it time to apologize, and when is it time to just kind of shut up and keep it moving, as opposed to sit and address the public, etc., etc. Seems like they already know what's going to happen, how it's going to come out. They're already banking on possibly a win. They meaning JoJo's camp is already banking on a win, and is probably, like I said, protected maybe under some legal statutes. Don't really love how that seems. It seems like some of it is going to lead to the hijacking, obviously, of JoJo's image, but the other part of it, to me, seems like we might see the public standing and mobilizing behind JoJo, or a portion of the public mobilizing behind her, while saying it's like she apologized. She's just a young girl, she's learning, she wasn't personally a part of the things that happened, like, oh, it was a dancer or a teacher to the girls that was not JoJo just runs the company, just very much that. Like, they've already mobilized the wall, the Secret Service around her, and she might be able to get off scot-free in this situation and move forward, presumably happily, if at all. Like, she might even be able to just move on from the situation being talked about heavily, and, even be able to promote a relationship and continue to promote some music and more content. Yikes. Big yikes. Don't like how this looks for maybe the other camp, but, under my assumption, it's giving off that, what they're planning to, if there's any sort of suing, lawsuits, whatever, is that, they're trying to get their money for a contractual situation, and it's gonna say in the contract, like, hey, we paid you for what you did, but, it says here, like, if you're not performing with us, not working with us, like, you signed a contract that says, like, you can't be paid or something like that, and that's going to protect them from, you know, maybe having to owe any more money, because, you know, it seems like whatever it is, whatever legal situation is around them is protected. It's protected. It's airtight. So I can see them sliding off with that, and there also probably could be some people who latch onto that and are like, well, listen, you should have thought about it before you signed a contract. Almost like a little bit detached. I don't know if I would say personally merciless, but detached from the situation. But yeah, thus that was that. I didn't expect this video quite to be this long, but it was on my mind, especially because, you know, justice for the children. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, yeah, that's all that I got for you guys. This was very interesting. Anyways, unrelated, if you want to hear about other K-pop stuff or other pop culture interests, etc., etc., you would like me to do deep dives with my tarot cards, I will. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, or run over to my Tumblr to read more about pop culture in general and K-pop, or send me an ask about, you know, something entirely different. Yeah, if you can't get down with it, get down. Don't get down with us. Adios.